Okay, good. So for those of you that watched the first session, this is the second session of my interview with Laura. And the first question I'll start with is, what would you say is the most wild or interesting spiritual experience you've ever had personally or with a client? What comes to mind when I ask you the most interesting or perplexing or just wild, cool, neat, whatever experience you've had spiritually?
Well, I think that would have to be after my dad passed away and he came back to me. Um, I was able to spend the last 2 weeks of my dad's life with him, and we had lots of conversations. And he was not a huge believer, but and he was always a bit skeptical of what I did, but very loving and supportive. But I
Mm-hmm.
said to him, Dad, when you die, you have to come back and talk to me because if anybody in the family is going to know it's you, it's going to be me. Right. So, and, I do medium work. It's not something I advertise a lot, but, often in sessions, people that have passed over will come through somebody's, spouse or grandparent or child, and that's always very helpful to them. But so about a week after my dad passed on, I was at the computer and he just showed up, and I was paying bills. I wasn't thinking about him. You know, I was very okay when he passed on. I'd done all my grieving work, and but he did come to me, and it was so clearly my father. And the first thing he said to me is, "Oh my gosh, you were right."
You know something I didn't realize about this about you. You are such a daddy's girl.
Oh, I don't know, but it was great. It was great that he came through. But what was so amazing, so we chatted a bit about it, and I said, "What's it like over there, Dad?" And all of a sudden, he just, I don't know really what happened, but it felt like he opened me up. My throat and my whole torso opened up energetically, and he started pouring liquid light into me. It's very hard to describe the experience, but I was in such a high level of bliss and just it was almost more than I could handle. And
Mhm.
after about 5 minutes of it, I had to stop. I said, Dad, it's too much. But thank you. Thank you so much. It was the most beautiful, blissful, enlightening, sense of love and joy and rightness that I've ever had. And so
Beautiful.
that was very, very cool. Yeah, that's what it's like on the other side. That's what he showed me.
It's beautiful. You gave a really good description of your experience, but it began with you saying, there's parts of it that you can't explain or you're not really sure what happened. And I just wanted to mention that again because I know there's a lot of people out there who might be having spiritual experiences or attempting to have spiritual experiences. And this is just a reminder. You have someone sitting in front of you here, Laura, who has done a lot of spiritual work, has helped a lot of people do spiritual work, and there are still times where she can't explain or understand completely how something happened or what happened. Just trust your experiences. For those of you that are doing spiritual work and you're expecting something to happen, just stick with it and be open and enjoy. So I just wanted to say that again. Um,
Thank you for saying that, Dave. If I could just add to that,
yeah.
because I have had so many spiritual experiences over the years, and as a child had them and didn't understand what was going on. And you know, we are humans and living in 3D reality. We can expand our consciousness a lot. There's a lot of teachers that have expanded their consciousness, enormously, and we can follow them. But I don't know that we ever have all the answers.
Yeah.
It is helpful though, if you're having an experience that you don't understand, to find someone like me or you or someone who's already walked the path, to explain. Just like I found the psychic when I first heard the voice, it was so helpful to me.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I kind of thought I was crazy there. So it's
Yeah.
it's really helpful to find someone who's been in your shoes.
Well, and this is really one of the reasons why I was so excited when I thought of Esoteric Nerd is because part of this is not only to get wonderful information and hear stories, but to do exactly what you're saying. The intuitive side of things, the spiritual side of life is so important, such an important and beautiful aspect to us, and one that can greatly help us in healing and feeling better. And there are so many people out there who just don't know much about it, or they're worried about it, or they don't believe, or they do believe, and they're not sure what's going to happen. And so just, hopefully they'll tune in and hear this conversation because it can be very helpful to get used to this kind of thing. So, Laura, are you a normal person?
I am a normal person. I have two teenagers and I drive them to school and to all their activities and I go to Costco. Um, Sometimes I have to stop in the middle of Costco and do a short reading for a person. So I'm not totally normal, but yeah, I have a pretty normal life. And I like to have a glass of wine and a cup of coffee and I like to walk the beach and, yeah, I have lots of friends, love to go out.
Nice. Yeah, you look pretty normal. I just thought I'd ask. So,
Thank you.
when we were talking about, I can't remember the exact question, but earlier you mentioned, I think, supporting people, or it was that or working on your own stuff, but you mentioned stuff. When you are talking about somebody, whether it's my stuff or one of your clients' stuff, what exactly are you referring to? What is the stuff? What is the baggage? What does that mean?
Okay, so we all come in as souls to an incarnation to deal with a lot of things, to learn lessons, to clear karma, to complete contracts, to have certain experiences. I call it the backpack. We come in with all of these things. We choose our lives to a certain extent before we come in, at least our situations that we come into. So we choose our families, we choose our circumstances. And that's a little hard to imagine, especially if they're very challenging circumstances. But it's a perspective that helps us to understand and get through, gives us strength and comfort. So we come into a particular family, and everybody is traumatized by their experience as a child in one way or another. And those traumas or those experiences, that imprinting uh, creates emotional imprint on our psyche, I guess you could call it. And when that imprinting happens, there's a lot of other things that happen too. There's a belief system that develops, and there's a lot of unexpressed emotion that often accumulates around that belief system and that trauma. And your belief systems can be anything. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not lovable. You know, I'll never be successful. My parents don't love me, whatever it is, even if we have wonderful childhoods, I mean, none of us escape a certain amount of quote unquote negative imprinting. And
Hmm.
then as we grow up, that negative imprinting continues to attract other experiences that are very similar that then reinforces the belief system.
Hmm.
And, things happen when you're 4, when you're 7, when you're 12, when you're 13, when you're 20, and the world continues to reflect back to you those emotional traumas and belief systems that don't actually represent ultimate truth, because ultimately we're all lovable, we're all successful, we all have worth and value, we're all supposed to be here. But we need to learn that.
Hmm.
And so as we go through life, we develop these big energetic blocks in our psyche around these belief systems that don't represent truth. And the work, whether it's psychological work through counseling, whether it's body work through yoga or massage, whether it's energy work, Reiki, the Diksha blessing, there's so many different ways to shift these energy blocks out of our psyche. Journaling, prayer, meditation. There's countless ways. But, anyway, the point is to shift these. And as we shift these, our souls evolve, the blocks clear. We're able to manifest whatever we want to manifest in our lives, I believe. And through that process, we get more clear, our vibration increases, we become closer to the divine. We also become more intuitive. We'll become more powerful energetically. We become more powerful manifestors. And then on the sort of the character side of things, we become more loving, more patient, more compassionate. We just evolve as humans. And we complete the work that we come in to do as souls. So I get super excited about this work because my dream is that we're all evolving consciously and participating overtly in this process that we came in to do as souls. It's happening anyways, whether you're conscious of it or not.
That's
If
right.
you're conscious of it, you can move it along so much more quickly. It's much less painful. And you can have a community of like-minded people to do it with.
No, I think I love the point you're making, and this is something that people listening have to understand. You are not stuck in this patterning. We are here to learn and grow. So if you are somebody who is experiencing low mood, depression, if you're someone who is experiencing fears, anxiety, just a constant pattern of unhealthy relationship, whatever it is, it's here for you to learn and grow. And with a spiritual practice, with support like somebody like Lora, you are meant to learn and grow from it. So really understand this, people, that you are not stuck. So final question before we finish up for today, and it again goes back to something you said earlier. You mentioned that sometimes you do a little bit of channeling. That sometimes in your, well, I guess it's all channeling. You used a different word that I forgot. But sometimes during a session, you will actually talk to the other side for the client. Tell me a little bit about what that experience is like for you from your end. What is it like to be sitting there with somebody and actually have somebody speaking through you from the other side?
Well, it's a very different experience from speaking to what I call guidance or your guides or your angels. There's a lot of different terms to describe when I connect with somebody else's, I call it their team. When I'm talking to somebody who's passed over, it feels very different. Energetically, it's a little bit heavier. The information coming through, it definitely feels more human than divine, but not really human. There's a more insistent quality to it. Usually when people come through in a session, people that have passed on are super excited to pass on their information. And so there's almost an interrupting, like, let me in. I have to tell this to the person. So, yeah, it's a very different experience. It's a very beautiful experience. People are always happy to receive the messages. The message is always very consistent. It's great over here. I'm really happy. I can see things from a different perspective. There's often, messages of love and asking for forgiveness and compassion and encouraging the people on this side to move on, with those same qualities, love, compassion, forgiveness. And always the message. It's so amazing over here. And life does not end.
So there you go. Lora Sorg, thehealingintent.com, a normal woman in society who also has some very special talents and said a lot of wonderful, wonderful things. So thank you for taking your time to let me drill questions at you. And I appreciate you not only talking with me, but sharing a little bit about yourself. I truly believe that the more people hear from someone like you about spiritual healing and the esoteric arts, so to speak, the more comfortable we'll become with it, and the greater the possibility is for people truly understanding that if we really are interested in long-term health and happiness now, that we have to take into account this deeper aspect of who we are and the stress that's carried there. So thank you very much, and we will talk soon.
Thanks, Dave. It was my pleasure. Have a great day.
Bye.